I'll show a quick preview of a new graphical plugin we've been working on. It's still beta, still very buggy, literally running here on my laptop, but it really takes the GraphiQL introspection to just kind of the next level. It's really cool. You can kind of see your applications just being built in front of you as you play around with an API. So to show that, let's just dive in, and I'll build a quick mutation in the Explorer over here, like normal. Like most apps, this app will have a sign in mutation. And so to do that, I'm going to go into OneGraph, I'm going to sign in, and you can see that sign in takes a couple of required strings. I'll come back to that, and I just want to get a couple of fields based off of the results of this. And I can of course come in here and test some hard-coded things, and it'll say that, hey, we couldn't find a value with that email and password, obviously. But what I can do, I'm going to switch over to SmartForms, and I can say that actually I want to have this parameterized. So I'm going to make this a variable, and we'll pop that in. And you can see that this actually now becomes like a form, and I can start filling this out. So I'm going to fill this out, and I'll run that, and still we're not quite there. And the cool thing is we can do this over here, and we can also do it over here. So I can type in password, and I'll run that, and it won't log in. It's not the right password. That's fine. But what I can do is if I add a dollar symbol here, it's actually going to reflect on the field that it's filling in, and it's going to say, what is the type of that? In this case, password is a string that is required, and it's going to automatically add that. It's first going to change the value of this field to be a variable, and then it's going to add that variable as a data dependency up here, which will also propagate it down here. So now whenever I come in and I fill out this form, you can see that it works. And we can also do it with remember me. So we'll do remember me, which is a Boolean. And we'll copy this. And there we go. So now we have this full form for logging in, just like we would have in our application, that has just kind of built itself in front of us as we've been playing around. And you can see here that password is actually rendering using a password input form rather than just the normal string. And that's because you can also provide custom React components based off of the name of a variable and also its type. So for example, let's say that this was a sign up form. And as part of the sign up process, you had to upload a photo. So we can make this an upload file. And in this case, I've actually provided an Apollo compatible upload file component, and it'll just work. So now we have a fully working component. And if we want to see the JSON, it's a little bit buggy right now, it's not showing, but we can copy this, paste it in, you can see that it actually builds up the same, the real data. So this is all looking good. Let's show that this works actually with some more complex data types real quick. So what I'm going to move this up here, I'm going to call this search Spotify. What I can do is, let's go ahead and add Spotify. I can search. And I'm going to get back a list of tracks that match my search. And for each of them, I want to get their ID and their name. And if I hover over search, I can see that this is a Spotify search arg. So I'm going to copy that and say, all right, I want to parameterize this. So let's make a variable called search. It's that. And you can see that the form has already filled itself out. But here we go. So now I can come in here and have this full form working. So I can say you and I, run that, and that looks great. You're my sunshine. Boom. So now we have like this full, Spotify search app that just works. And this works for any different field over here. So we can just kind of come in and click our way through and start parameterizing and execute. And now whenever we go in and export in our code, we'll get a form that looks much like this. So you can kind of just go from exploring, visualizing your query, seeing what the actual form is going to look like whenever you run it, and seeing the results as well. So, and you can see it's really fast, really smooth, lots of fun. So anyway, that's a quick preview of what we've been working on with the Smart Variables form. Still got quite a bit of polish left to do, but it's pretty exciting.